Hello, my name is Henry, and today I'm going to be doing something slightly different. So I didn't do music for my GCSE, and so what I've done is I have talked to my friend Noah, who is very, very good at music. He got full marks in his performance, 50 out of 60 in his composition, and he got over 90% in the exam, so he really knows what he's talking about, and he's basically going to be doing a video on how he got a 9 in GCSE music. So to those of you new to the channel, I got all 9s, and obviously I'll do videos as well in subjects I didn't do and advice that I can't give. I'll be bringing in other people to do that, and I'm just trying to release as many videos as I can to help out. So please subscribe, leave a like, and feel free to leave any comments, and me or Noah will reply if it's about music. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'm sure you will see more of Noah on the channel. Enjoy.
Hello, my name's Noah, and I'm going to be talking about what I did to get a grade 9 in GCSE music. I'm friends with Henry, went to the same secondary school and primary school. But yeah, so I'll just start off with a bit of background. I've been playing the saxophone since year 5, and I did that throughout the secondary school. And I'll firstly say, obviously, whatever instrument you play, for GCSE music, make sure that you're trying to be part of the music scene at your secondary school, because that's a big part, and that helps just generally with playing, with theory, and even with composition ideas. Actually, if you're doing it on like a software like Sibelius and stuff, just it helps get familiar with the layout, if that makes sense. So yeah, obviously the course is broken into 3 sections. So you've got the performance, the composition, and the exam. I'll firstly talk about the performance. So obviously, whatever grade minimum your school has set, I don't know what it is for each exam board, I did Excel, and the minimum grade for the performance piece was a grade 4. So just make sure, obviously, you're not playing anything under a grade 4, and if you can, go for a grade 5. Obviously it depends at what point you're watching this video, but if you're just in year 9, I would just go for a grade 5 piece. You have so much time to learn it. Like, even if it seems a bit out of hand for you at the moment, you have literally 3 years, or 2 years, or even a year. Like, to learn a grade 5 piece, you just got to put a bit of hard work into it, and it can easily be done. So yeah, and just internalize the piece. Make sure you know it. You can just listen to it in your head, and once you get to that point, and obviously practicing and everything else, yeah, because the performance and the composition are sort of like the coursework. So as Henry said before, if you just master the coursework side, that takes a bit of pressure off the exam. Obviously you still want to do well in the exam, but yeah, so just make sure you're going for those top grades in the performance. And yeah, like I said, just internalize the piece, and obviously just practicing. But that goes without saying, really, if you're taking music. And in terms of confidence with playing, I know that's also something that a lot of people struggle with in music. I think, yeah, going back to just being in a band at your school just boosts your confidence. Like, I was in it from year 7, coming in with like most people, no experience playing in front of others, in that sense. So just doing that builds your confidence, and it just makes the performance so much easier as well, especially if it's with your music teacher, who's part of that and has seen you play anyway. It's just so much easier if you are part of a band. So yeah. Okay, next you have the composition, and for this, my main thing would be just don't get complacent. Like, I feel like even at A-level music now is what I found, a lot of people do, is in lesson time, you just sort of go over the same things, if that makes sense. Just make sure every single time you have a composition lesson, you're adding something new. Just to get those, if it's 3 minutes or 4 minutes, just make sure you're hitting that first, and then worry about things like the instrumentation. I would prioritize structure and making sure you have, so like if it's A, B, A, making sure that B section is such a contrast to the A. I think that's one of the most important things, because that's what the examiners are looking out for. So yeah, just make sure you're doing something new every single time you have a composition lesson, and also make sure you're getting feedback from your teacher as much as possible and actually act on what they're saying. And you know, like whatever they say, you have to at least try, even if you don't fully agree with it. And I had that a lot because I did a reggae piece for my composition, right? And my teacher didn't know that much about reggae, and he'd, you know, say things that aren't, I guess, conventional of the reggae I know or whatever. But you kind of have to separate, like, you're not going out here to make the next #1 hit single or something. And I feel like a lot of people had that mindset. You just have to make sure that, like, you're not trying to make a masterpiece here. No one's expecting, you know, the next symphony, the greatest, you know, whatever. You're just trying to make a piece that's conventional to the brief, and just try and stick to that. And any feedback the teacher gives you, because they're most likely going to be marking it, so I don't know why you wouldn't just do that, really, and do what they say. Finally, there's the exam, which is 40% of the GCSE, obviously the performance being 30, and then the composition being 30. So in this exam, you'll be asked about a range of questions about your set works, which I'll firstly say, the most important thing is make sure you internalize them. So make sure you've made a playlist. I had a playlist on Spotify, and make sure you're listening to all of your set works every single day up until the exam. This just means that when it comes to the exam, there won't be any shocks apart from the unfamiliar listening. If they can play any extract from any part of the song, you'll know where it is. For example, when I had the Star Wars theme and they played the start of the B section, I knew it was that because I'd listened to it literally every day and I knew what was coming and how it goes. So, like, it's just to make sure there's no shocks, really. And when it comes to annotating your score with your teacher, make sure you're writing every single thing that they say down. Even if you don't fully understand it at the time, don't worry about that. Just make sure it's all down. And even if you don't even think it's that relevant, if they've said it for a reason. So just don't get complacent with that either, and just make sure you're making a note on your on your score of anything they've mentioned at any point. And make sure they're clear as well. So I use a red pen instead of a black pen, because if you're using a black pen, obviously the score is also in black, so it's just a bit unclear and a bit scruffy. And when you're highlighting, make sure that you're using different colours for different categories of the features. So like have melodic features as blue and harmonic features as red, and you know, just making sure it's clear, so you can go back and reference it. And then when it comes to actually, you know, consolidating your knowledge of that terminology and just making sure that you understand what you're looking out for and what it means and stuff, Henry's got loads of videos on the flashcards, and they're great, and that's what I did really, just to make sure that my knowledge was perfect for the set pieces. And you want to get to a point where months, or even, you know, weeks close to the exam, you can do mind maps. So this is what I did. I just mind mapped one of the set pieces, put the different categories of the musical features, and just made sure I could pick out what they have. So like whether it was homophonic, what the texture's like, and everything like that for every single set piece. And once you can do that, you're pretty much set for the main questions. Obviously you have the essay questions, and that's a little bit different. So what I had is that at the end, I got a question where there was a familiar piece that I know with a skeleton score, and then an unfamiliar piece that I don't know with a skeleton score. And you just have to compare them on one of those categories. And so just pretty much just go over what you know, and because they're not going to ask you anything that you wouldn't have already revised, if that makes sense, for your other set pieces. So just as long as your knowledge is good for that. And then obviously just when it comes to exam technique for the essay, make sure you're doing practice questions throughout. So I would do one a week, work it into your schedule as well as your other subjects, same thing really. And just master that really, and just make sure you're getting that feedback from your teacher every week, on a different set work. So, because it could be any of them, unless they tell you otherwise. And yeah, so that's what I would say for music, really. Obviously, it's quite brief, but just leave any comments if there's any confusion over anything or if you've got any further questions. And yeah, that's it. Good luck.